Oh, dear Divine Selves, we are going to practice Nidhidhyasana, profound Vedantic meditation for self-realization, self-discovery, to know our true self. And we are going to do that Nidhidhyasana on the basis of the wisdom, the supreme mantras of non-duality and non-dual self-realization revealed in RIbhu Gita by sage Ribhhu. Today we will do Nidhidhyasana on chapter 21. Am Brahma Prakarana Nirupanam. Topic of the definition of I am Brahman. Determination and definition of the true purport of the Mahavakya Aham Brahmasmi, I am Brahman, is the subject matter. We are going to understand today in the deepest sense the meaning of the Mahavakya Aham Brahmasmi, Sohamasmi, Brahmaivahamasmi, all do mean the same. I am Brahman. So let's first listen to the true meaning and explanation and determination and definition of this Mahavakya in the divine words of RIbhu Gita, and then after listening with full devotion and utmost sincerity, we have to reflect on each and every sentence, and thereafter begins the Nidhidhyasana. Nidhidhyasana happens after true understanding of the real meaning and implications of every word of the Mahavakya, I am Brahman. So let's begin our Shravan Manana Nidhidhyasana for self-realization. Ribhu. Again and again I say unto you the highest truth. Anything apart from the self is unreal indeed. There is no word for unreality. Reality being ever existent, there is no word for it. I shall declare the definition of the self for one eager for Brahmabhyas, practice of Brahman, practice of Brahmanhood, or the state of Brahmanhood or abidance in Brahmanhood requires practice, because so far due to delusion and illusion we have been living life in Dehabhyas. We have been through every word, thought and action of ours been practicing unconsciously Dehabhyas, that I am body, mind, senses. That has created an illusory sense of finiteness, ephemerality to the one who is infinite, eternal. So only when we break free from that long-held belief that I am body, and as an antidote to that ignorance, we must practice Brahmabhyas. We should practice, and we have to practice that I am not body, but I am Brahman. I am Brahman, and in this conviction we must abide. In this conviction, firm certitude that I am nothing but self and Brahman alone, we have to practice mentally very deep practice within that Aham Brahmasmi, I am Brahman. I shall speak of it immediately with an auspicious beginning. All is Brahman, Sarvam Khalvidam Brahma. Everything, everyone, all is nothing but Brahman alone. Every name, every form, every attribute, every thing experienced is nothing but manifestation and radiation of Brahman alone. Brahman of the nature of pure consciousness alone has appeared as all the names, forms, attributes, and I am none other than that Brahman, the Sacchidananda, absolute existence, pure consciousness and infinite bliss I am. All is Brahman. I indeed am only consciousness. Chidoham, Chidaivahamasmi. I am nothing but pure consciousness, infinite mass of pure consciousness, blissful mass of pure consciousness is my true nature, and that alone is called Brahman. My true self, my true nature is infinite mass of self-effulgent, self-radiant, self-existing, pure consciousness. Pure consciousness I am, Chidoham. Practice this. Get soaked in this practice. Every single pore of your body must get soaked in this practice, in this conviction, in this certitude that I am nothing but Brahman of the nature of pure consciousness. I am light of the light, light non-dual, light indivisible, absolute unconditioned light, that is light of pure consciousness, and within me, upon me, and through me alone the entire phenomenal universe manifests, appears, and whenever it appears as the world or the jiva, it's nothing but I, the pure consciousness, the Brahman, the Chidatman, am appearing as all. I am all of all. I am all by myself. There is none apart from me. There is none separate from me. I, the one non-dual, indivisible, infinite reality of the nature of pure consciousness, vast spacious awareness alone exist and appear as various names, forms, and attributes. There is none other than me. I, the one indivisible, non-dual alone, becomes diverse, differentiated, and many. I indeed am only consciousness. There is nothing else. I indeed am the Supreme Brahman. I am also the consciousness self. Consciousness self. Consciousness is the innermost core of my existence. There is nothing beyond that. Everything is resting and based on the background of my consciousness, beyond my consciousness, outside my pure intelligence. There is nothing that exists ever. Chidoham, Brahmoham, Soham, Satchidanandoham, Satchidanandoham. Practice this. I indeed am only consciousness, there is nothing else. I indeed am the Supreme Brahman. I am also the consciousness self. All is Brahman, indeed. I am only consciousness. There is nothing as I or mine. There is nothing as my being a wise man. I am always pure. I am of the nature of Brahman. I am bliss. I am embodiment of bliss always. I am Anandamurti, Premamurti, Saundaryamurti. I am embodiment of unconditioned love, infinite bliss, and everlasting beauty. I am. There is not an iota of beauty outside me. There is not a single drop of love separate from me. There is not a single particle of happiness without me or outside me. Every single drop of love, every single particle of happiness and joy, every single ray of beauty that is being experienced in the world is myself. I, ever of the nature of bliss, am radiating in the entire universe and beyond. There is none outside me. Bliss is my nature. Love is intrinsic to me. Beauty is so natural to me. I am nameless, formless, attributeless, pure consciousness, the Atman eternal I am. I am Brahman. In this way, practice Nidhidhyasana and abide in your true nature repeatedly. I am a God. I am the Divine Son. I am the fourth state, Turiyatita. I am. I am the present and the future. I am the Creator. If you do meaningful introspection, you would realize there is nothing which really is creating anything but the pure consciousness within each one of us. Pure intelligence alone is the ultimate creator. Every name and form and attribute or being, inert or living, is nothing but a creation in, upon, and through pure consciousness. The entire phenomenal universe is nothing but a modification of consciousness. Every single gross object is nothing but a modification and modulation of pure consciousness. Modulation and modification within consciousness, through consciousness, upon consciousness. I am of the nature of pure consciousness, and I alone am the source, substance, and substratum of the entire universe. Therefore, I alone am the ultimate creator of all. Every single name, form, and attribute is nothing but my creation by way of imagination, a modification and modulation of pure consciousness. Therefore, I, the Chidananda, the blissful consciousness alone is the ultimate creator. I am creator of all. I am the complete. I am the innermost of the innermost. I am wholesome perfectness. I am always perfect. I lack nothing. I need nothing. I want nothing, because I am a wholesome, and perfect reality. I am Brahman alone. Meditate on this. Contemplate on this. Meditate on this. Abide in this. That is the Nidhidhyasana. It will take you to the innermost core of your existence, the self. The self would stand revealed in utter nakedness, in full glory. If you do this Nidhidhyasana, profound Vedantic meditation with full devotion and complete sincerity, the self would stand intuitively, immediately, and intimately revealed before you right now, right here. Aham Brahmasmi. I am Brahman. I am immortal. I am perpetual. I am the totally supreme. I am the nature of the high and the low. High and low, both I am. Because nothing is beyond me, outside me, apart from me. I am of the nature of essence of the eternal and the transient. The eternal, that is Atman and Brahman, of the nature of pure consciousness, and the transient, momentary, ephemeral world of duality, world of names, forms, and attributes. True is nothing but my own manifestation. So I am Brahman and I am Jagat and Jiva too. Aham Brahma Param Dhamam Brahmaham Paramam Padam Brahma Satyam Jagat Mithya Jivo Brahmaiva Naparaha. The Brahman is the only truth, and Brahman I am, Brahman you are, and this entire phenomenal universe too is nothing but Brahman. One indivisible, non-dual Brahman alone has appeared as the insentient, ephemeral, illusory names and forms too. Therefore, there is nothing other than Brahman anywhere, ever. Listen to this carefully with full devotion, reflect on this truth, and then go within and meditate, practice Nidhidhyasana, abide in this truth of your nature, experience for yourself through profound Vedantic meditation that would lead to self-realization. The true nature of your self would stand revealed. Doing only thus, as we have been doing now, doing only thus. Ever remember, I am indeed Brahman. Ever remember, Am Brahmasmi. Ever remember and abide in this conviction and certitude that I am Brahman. By this much itself, you will certainly become liberated. By this much of practice, always remembering and abiding in this certitude that I am Brahman, you will become immediately liberated by way of knowing the true nature of yourself, and that true nature of the self is nothing but Brahman. The true nature of your innermost self is nothing but eternal, immortal Brahman. You are always liberated. The sense of bondage, sorrow, suffering, death and birth was creation of your ignorance about your true nature. After you know your true nature, you realize that the death and birth are illusion, only names, misconceptions, misapprehensions. There is no death or birth in me. I am always free, no sorrow, suffering, affliction, infections can touch me. I am ever pure, I am ever immaculate, I am taintless, I am ever blissful. Unconditioned bliss is intrinsic and natural to me. Unconditional love and beauty is my birthright. I am pulsating with that unconditioned and endless beauty. I am throbbing with the love unconditioned. Every moment I am saturated with the infinite ocean of love, intense love. I am embodiment of that intense love always. Therefore I am wholesome and fulsome Brahman always. Chidanandarupaha Shivoham Shivoham. It is certain there is nothing for me because of my being thoughtless and decayless. Pure consciousness in its primary sense, in its original nature, is always thoughtless, decayless. Whenever thoughts arise in the pure consciousness, the same pure consciousness becomes impure in the form of thoughts, mind. But I remain as pure, ever pure. But I appear to become tainted and impure through mental modifications. I am always decayless. There is no decay or death in me. In my true nature, as self, as pure consciousness, there is no modification in reality in me. All modifications happen just as the mind projects the dream world during the night when you are asleep. During the dream world, you see so much of forms, names, worlds created artificially through the power of pure consciousness alone. Again, the light on the background of pure consciousness alone, all the names, forms, and illusory dream world appear. Even so, in the waking state, all the names and forms and the infinite phenomenal universe is nothing but a dream or an imagination of my mind. But that essence of that mind and thought is also pure consciousness. My Atman, the self-effulgent Atman alone is source, substance and substratum of entire world of names, forms and attributes and duality and triad. Therefore, in reality, nothing other than me ever exists. Aham Brahmasmi, I am Brahman alone. Practice this. Consciousness I am, consciousness I am Brahman consciousness, consciousness I am I, ever I am consciousness. Ever I am consciousness alone. Consciousness am I. Practice this, meditate on this. Chidoham, Chidoham, Brahmoham, Soham, Aham Brahmasmi. Thus, with the conviction divested of doubt, be at ease, renouncing all connections, always be at one with the self. Means abide in the self, abide in the seer, the knower, which is pure consciousness, the Atman within. Ever abide in the Atman within. Mentally, physically, you can keep doing whatever you want to do in the world, but mentally, you must be rooted, always, always anchored in the pure consciousness. That is the state supreme. That is the key to self-realization. That is the mantra and magic which leads you to realize your infinite Brahmanhood. Do that through Nidhidhyasana, profound Vedantic meditation. Thus, with this conviction divested of doubt, be at ease, renouncing all connections, or relationships or attachments, always be at one with the self, because all connections with the world of duality are illusory, false mental projections. You are one indivisible, eternal Atman within. Therefore, abide in that Atman alone. I shall tell you what is meant by Satsanga. Satsanga, we know, each one of us knows the term, but see the deepest and most profound meaning and implication in Vedanta, Advaita Vedanta, what Ribhu is revealing. What is Satsanga? What is the term Sat and Sangha? Company of truth, company of Brahman, abidance in Brahman, abidance in eternal existence, abidance in pure Atman alone is Satsanga. The rest is all perfunctory nonsense, or at best a tool to spiritual progress. But the ultimate and deepest meaning of Satsanga is the company of truth, abidance in truth, and being the truth. And that truth is Brahman, that truth is Atman, that Atman you are, that Brahman I am. Abidance in the certitude that I am Brahman is the real Satsanga. I shall tell you what is meant by Satsanga. The certitude of I am Brahman, I am the truth, I am the Supreme Self. Indeed, I myself am myself by myself. Practice it repeatedly, time and again, time and again. Hammer it out like a chisel does on the block of stone to carve out a sculpture. You have to carve out the already present self or Brahman through the chisel of this mental practice. Am Brahmasmi. Aham Brahmasmi. The chisel of thought is going to carve out the ultimate truth, which is ever present within you and me and everywhere. I am not the body, the prana, the pairs of opposites, and not even purity. This indeed is Satsanga. This itself is purity. In the company of the great conviction of being Brahman is the highest state. I am rooted in peace. I am Brahman. There is no doubt of this. There is no doubt of this. I am of the nature that has renounced all. I am without thought and others. This indeed is Satsanga. I shall be this always. That is, be of the firm conviction, abide in this certitude that I am Brahman. My abidance, unbroken abidance in the Self, the Brahman alone is true Satsanga, real Satsanga. I am of the nature that has renounced all. I am without thought and others. This indeed is Satsanga. I shall be this always. I am without the sankalpas. I am without any modes. All I am immortal. I am unborn and eternal. I am beyond the fear of death. I am always beyond the fear of death because I am unborn. Self-existing, absolute reality I am. Abide in this conviction. That is true meaning of Satsanga. That is the highest Satsanga. I am the all-auspicious nature, ever of a loving disposition. I am with parts, with blemish, and I am beyond blemish ever. I am the companion. I am only boundless being. I am of the nature of real knowledge. I am other than sound. I am sound and I am without any name or form. All sounds emanate from me alone, but in my true nature there is no sound, there is no touch, there is no hearing, there is no sensation, and yet I alone appear as all the five sense objects and feelings and experiences. Tanmatras. I am devoid of total identity with anything. I am devoid of beginning, middle, or end because I am eternal reality. Thus, by such steadfast practice and by personal experience and by the repeated daily conviction of being the Self, be happy. Be happy with this conviction. Thus, with the Self attaining such bliss, there shall be no rebirth. There shall be no rebirth if you abide in this firm conviction that I am ever blissful Atman, I am absolute Brahman. Practice this, meditate on this. He shall become instantly liberated. The one who abides with this conviction, who lives with this certitude, he immediately becomes liberated, free from all sorrows, sufferings, fears. He becomes the absolute reality, unconditioned existence, and eternal ocean of love within himself or herself. He shall become instantly liberated by this certitude that I am Brahman. By abidance in your true self, you instantly get liberated. He is established as the nature of Brahman. This universe is of the nature of the Self. I am the great nature of the Self. There is the Self alone. Nothing else has been created. Only the self, pure self of the nature of pure consciousness alone has appeared the world of duality, the world of trades. The entire phenomenal universe is nothing but my own creation by way of imagination through mind and thoughts. Nothing else has been created. The self alone is the mind. Mind too is nothing but self, pure consciousness. The essence of mind and every thought is nothing but pure consciousness. Without the light of pure consciousness, there can't be a single thought ever. Never ever any experience of anything without the light of pure consciousness. That is Atman. That light of pure consciousness alone is absolute Brahman. Abide in this conviction. That is the highest state. Practice and abide in this truth. The self alone sometimes manifests as memory. The self, it is that manifests as the intellect. The self indeed manifests as anger. There can't be anger without self, the pure consciousness. Anger too is a modification of pure consciousness. Always the self indeed is Shravana. Likewise, the self indeed is Manana also. There can't be any Shravana, Manana or Nidhidhyasana without pure consciousness. All listening, reflection, contemplation and meditation happens upon and through the force and power of pure consciousness. Without pure consciousness, that is Atman, nothing is possible, no one exists, nothing exists ever. Know this for sure and abide in this truth. The self, it is that manifests as the Arthavada. It is indeed the attainment of the Supreme Self. Brahman appears as desire and fructified karma. The Brahman alone, the Atman alone appears as all desires and all the fructified karma. The Supreme appears as desire and fructified karma. The Supreme, that is the Brahman, the Atman of the nature of pure consciousness alone appears as desire and fructified karma. Brahman appears as the beginning of desire for the Supreme Sadvritti, that is called desire for Brahman or Brahmanhood, is also nothing but Brahman. Brahman alone takes form of all desires, and through Brahman alone all desires are illumined and enlivened and animated. The power of desire is only consciousness. You note it down. It's such a profound statement. It requires hours and hours of reflection, contemplation and meditation on this, that the power of desire is only consciousness. Without consciousness, you can't desire anything, not even for a nanosecond you can desire anything. No desire can exist outside or without the power of pure consciousness. The light of pure consciousness alone is the source, substance and substratum of all your desires. Whether fulfilled or unfulfilled, the mere existence of every desire is happening in pure consciousness alone. Try to contemplate and understand the true meaning of this declaration. The power of desire is only consciousness. The power of desirelessness is indeed the self. The power of desire for the Supreme is imperishable. All modes of desires are nothing but manifestation of that Supreme Atman only. The Supreme Self is the sovereign. All things are of the Supreme Self. All association is only the Supreme Self. Fruitfulness is of the Supreme Self. Brahman alone is the supreme connection. Whatever arises out of karma is also the connection with Brahman. Brahman itself manifests as arising out of delusion. The pairs of opposites are only Brahman and nothing else. The certitude that all is Brahman immediately confers liberation. The certitude that I am Brahman immediately confers liberation, instant liberation. This is key to instant liberation. This one mantra you have to remember always, that you have to abide mentally, abide in this firm conviction and certitude that I am Brahman. And once you manage to, you succeed in abidance of that conviction, you are instantly liberated. Because the truth is revealed, the eternal Atman is revealed, the absolutely free, ever liberated Brahman and Atman that you are stands revealed by this true conviction. With the annihilation of the false conviction that I am body, perishable mortal body, and abidance in the eternal truth of my true nature, that I am Brahman, the truth stands revealed, and that is instant liberation, that is enlightenment, that is self-realization, God-realization, that is the Moksha, the fourth and ultimate objective of every human being. What is connected with sound is only Brahman. What is connected with seeing is only Brahman. Brahman is the original Samadhi. Brahman by nature is original Samadhi, ever pure, ever inactive, ever in unconditional love, bliss and beauty. The Brahman alone in his purity is Samadhi, infinite. Brahman indeed is certainly the void, hence it is said to be impossible to meditate upon it. The Brahman is formless, nameless and attributeless. Therefore, those who are habituated to think of or concentrate on some being with some name and form can't meditate on that. It becomes, because void, the pure consciousness is ever void, and that is real existence. Everything arises out of the pure consciousness, the void, but in its pure nature, it's absolute void. Therefore, people find it difficult to meditate on that void, and that void is the knower and seer within you, the formless and attributeless and nameless knower within you of the nature of pure consciousness. Abide in that, meditate on that, because it's formless and nameless. The deluded ones, the ignorant ones, find it difficult to think of it, meditate on it, concentrate on it. But that alone is the supreme reality, the formless one, the knower within. So see the seer, know the knower, that is ultimate Samadhi, which reveals your true nature, and that is moksha and immediate liberation. By this conviction, the peaceful Jivan Mukta is in Samadhi. Intense overall peacefulness is the Samadhi while alive. This is told for the benefit of those intent on practice. This is that with which all this is connected. Forgetting again, forgetting, renouncing and again renouncing everything. Live of all activities with attitude that I am established as the void. This is the ultimate practice. Leave off all activities, vritti, not physical, mental vrittis. Ever you are caught up by the compulsive chain of thoughts, that you have to leave off. Leave off all activities, the vrittis of the mind, with the attitude that I am established as the void. That pure consciousness is that void he is referring to. Lord Buddha calls it void, Vedanta calls it Brahman. Forgetting also that I exist, forget also that I am manifest. In my true nature, I am ever unmanifest, because manifestation presuppose name, form, duality, attributes. I am ever pure, ever nameless, formless, and attributeless. In that sense, I never manifest. In my true nature, whenever I manifest, that is modification and modulation in my own nature. And still I remain away from all this modified world of names and forms appearing as Jiva and Jagat. Brahma Satyam Jagan Mithya. So Brahman ever remains that eternal truth, but the Brahman alone appears as Jiva and Jagat too. The individual self and the phenomenal universe is also in essence but nothing but manifestation of that Supreme Brahman, which I am, which you are. Leaving aside that I am conscious, leaving aside also that I am only existence, renouncing renunciation itself, renounce having any attitude or conviction. In sannyasa, traditional sannyasa philosophy, the ultimate renunciation is the sense of renunciation. The renunciation too has to be renounced. What are you going to renounce? In the beginning, since you have got attached to the world of names, forms, and relationships, connections, so therefore you need to renounce it. Renounce it. Once you know for sure that I am nameless, formless, one eternal, infinite, eternal Brahman of the nature of pure consciousness, therefore there is nothing to be renounced. I know for sure that entire physical phenomenal universe is false, illusory, and I am ever of the nature of Supreme Self, of pure consciousness. Therefore, there is no renunciation for me. All renunciations I was trying to do was only because of my illusion, my ignorance about true self. Leaving aside all of the mind, quickly cast off remembrance too. Even the least remembrance of ignorance is the great ocean of samsara here, very profound revelation. The chitta, which is the storehouse of memories, past memories, that brings you back to your illusion of the reality, which gives a reality to the world of names and forms. So don't remember anything, even a small remembrance brings you back in the world. So remain always in the eternal present, eternal truth, that is pure consciousness. Pure consciousness is without past, future, or even present. Pure consciousness is eternal. There is no sense of time and space in pure consciousness, in Atman and Brahman that I am. Very low flying helicopter is passing over the ashram. Remembrance in the least here becomes the great misery. Thought is the great defect and bondage to worldly existence. The mind is the cause of hundreds of births. Mind alone is root cause of bondage, sorrow, suffering, and repeated birth and death. So, become free from mind and mental modifications and ever abide in unbroken bliss by abidance in your true nature. Abidance in pure consciousness is the highest state. Everything, every ignorance, every name and form and attachment to that dissolves, and you enjoy the nectarine bliss of your true nature. That Nidhidhyasana Samadhi, the highest glory is revealed. Your infinite absolute nature is revealed. You know for sure through your own intuitive, personal, intimate experience that I was always free. I am always free in my pure nature. There is no sorrow or suffering because I am always taintless. I am always pure like space. The knot of the heart, Hriday Granthi, Chidyad Granthi. The knot of the heart is the fructified demerits of karma, of sins such as killing of Brahmins and others. Likewise, remembrance is here the cause of bondage and liberation. The Chitta alone is the cause of birth and death. It takes you in the world of illusion, delusion, and ignorance and distracts you from your true self, your true nature. Therefore, don't remember anything ever. Ever abide in the bliss of pure consciousness, your Atman, your true nature. This explanation, I am Brahman, this which we practice today, this explanation of I am Brahman destroys all misery. A lot of helicopters are passing over the ashram in Rishikesh today. This explanation of I am Brahman destroys all misery. It effaces all the illusory manifold world. It ever confers instant liberation. Forgetting all thoughts, memories, becoming free from all memories and thoughts confers instant liberation. And how do you get free from compulsive chain of thoughts? How do you become free from mind and mental modifications? By abiding your true nature. That is called Samadhi. That can be called Sahaj Samadhi and Gyan Samadhi also, because in Sahaj Samadhi, Gyan Samadhi, once you know your true nature, you can do the essential physical work also, walking, talking. You can do any state and still and yet you would abide in your true nature. That is Moksha, that is liberation, that is Jivan Mukti. It ever confers instant liberation. Merely hearing this, one becomes Brahman alone oneself. Just hearing this teaching that in this chapter today we heard, we have to hear it with full devotion and sincerity. Just hearing it even once, it confers instant liberation. Hearing not in superficial physical sense, but the one who is eager to understand his or true nature, and that seeker, if listens to this wisdom, the supreme revelation of Ribhhu on the Mahavakyas, that is exposition of the true self of yours and mine, he instantly becomes free. Merely hearing this, one becomes Brahman alone, oneself, because you are always Brahman, you are always Atman, you didn't know. Therefore, just knowing your true self and the nature of your Brahmanhood through the divine words of the Guru, you become free right now, right here. And then when you go deeper within and Abide in the pure self, unbroken bliss breaks out, and then you declare, Aham Brahma Param Dhamam Brahmaham Paramam Padam. Aham Brahma Param Dhamam Brahmaham Paramam Padam. Aham Brahma Param Dhamam Brahmaham Paramam Padam.